The NPCSC has made a decision that supplements and complements our decision of the Hong Kong SAR government to postpone the election for the 7th term of the Legislative Council. Now, the decision of the NPCSC is entirely legitimate and meets with all the constitutional and legal requirements. First of all, when it comes to a matter of constitutional structure, it is not for Hong Kong to say how it works. So when we postponed the legislative election for 1 year, there is a year of a gap by which the 6th term arguably is finished, but the 7th term hasn't started yet. So in order to fill this is a constitutional matter. It has to be dealt with by the Central People's Government. And that is why when the decision to postpone the Legislative Council election is made, the Chief Executive wrote to the Central People's Government and reporting on the situation facing Hong Kong at the time in order for the CPG to make a decision on what to do. And the CPG supported the Chief Executive's decision in postponing 1 year for the election. But to deal with this particular 1 year, it has to be dealt with by the Central People's Authorities. China is a unitary state. All the powers come from the central authorities. Hong Kong cannot fix any constitutional gap or constitutional matter within the Hong Kong regime, so it has to be referred to the CPG. And when the CPG receives that request, it will make its own decision, as it has, and refer that for the National People's Congress Standing Committee, the NPCSC, to make a decision on what to do. The NPCSC, in my humble view, has done a very good job in making use of the legal document called a decision in order to decide and give a legal foundation for the 6th term to extend for not less than 1 year in order for the legislative functions to continue. So in other words, that is within the constitutional framework. It is a matter for the CPG, and therefore the NPCSC has to make the decision. And secondly, the decision in its substance is entirely appropriate and correct in order to deal with the very special situation that has arisen. And therefore, any suggestions that it is unconstitutional or illegal, I think, is entirely without any standing. In the context of international law, there is a principle of non-intervention. Any states who try to use coercive measures such as unilateral sanctions against another state or its officers is entirely in violation of international law if it is made with a view to coerce another state to change its policies, be they economical, political, social, or otherwise. Now, what has been done by the United States is very much just that. It is made clear that they are making these sanctions with a view to try and, quote-unquote, punish or express their strong disagreement about China's passing their national security law. But China is entirely entitled to pass its own national security law, as indeed the United States have done so many times. So, and therefore, the actions is totally unacceptable. Now, when it comes to my own experiences concerned, of course I am affected by such sanctioning or so-called sanctioning measures. However, as a Chinese national, as a Hong Kong government official and therefore also a Chinese official, I am very proud to be able to serve the country in helping to do my job in ensuring that the national security law is properly interpreted and properly implemented. So that so-called sanction would not affect any of that. In fact, if one is to bear in mind that national security law is really to protect the rights and interests of the whole state and of the 1.4 billion people in China, you will immediately see the importance of that to China as a whole as compared to just my own individual. So whilst I am affected, I have to say that my personal interest compared to that of the state and of the population, the people in China, it is nothing. It is the state's interest that must prevail. Any attempts to try and undermine that is going to be of no avail. With the strong support of China behind us, we will continue to do our job and continue to safeguard national security.